I was Mr. Splice. Wait, why did that kind of rhyme? Held it up to the light, vanished from sight. I don't think I knew. Hello everyone, my name is Troy and welcome back to the KotLC Fanbase. Today, we are going to be reading my old KotLC fanfiction. I am a bit of a Wattpad icon, as you can see. Today, I'm going to be reading the fanfiction that I wrote all the way back in 2019, Breaking Time, a KotLC fanfiction. This is a time-traveling ex-KotLC fanfiction. I am so nervous, but I'm also really excited to show you what I wrote. But before we do that, I have a really special announcement. We have created a TikTok account. You can now follow us at KotLC Fanbase YT and enjoy some more KotLC content that we're posting daily. And here are the times for a live show tomorrow on our YouTube channel. Alright, we gotta start off with the prologue. The sky darkened, a strange smoke billowed out of the once luscious bright flowers. Sophie turned around looking for the one person she felt safe with at the moment. Alvar, Sophie whispered as she backed up a step. Suddenly, an invisible force wrapped around her waist, cutting off her breath. Three people with dark cloaks emerged from the smoke, walking towards her. Sophie tried to break away from the scary men, but the invisible force held her like glue. Another invisible force wrapped around her mouth, blocking her ability to speak. One of the men in cloaks carried a cloth and pressed it to her face. The strong sedatives lulled her to sleep, but not before Sophie noticed something very important. Eyes. Piercing white eyes were inscribed on her kidnappers' cloaks. Ooh, spooky and mysterious, ooh. I tried to make my prologue exactly like a Shannon Messenger prologue would look like, kind of like vague and mysterious, but also sprinkle in some very specific details as well. Alright, moving on. Chapter 1, The Attempt. Sophie woke up with a start with so many questions on her mind. What is so special about elves? Are they different than humans? Sophie wished she could be normal. Her parents did too, as she could hear their thoughts. The grammar in this is making me cringe. I was Mr. Splice in 2019. Sophie shook away the terrible thoughts as she brushed her hair straight. Sophie had a healthy lifestyle for the most part. She perfected her hair with her brush and walked out of her room. She instantly regretted opening the door. Amy, her little sister, was waiting. Hello, Sophie, Amy mocked. What's with your hair and your shirt? She started. I'm trying something new to... Okay, I don't really care, Amy interrupted. Sophie rolled her eyes and walked down the stairs. Sophie finished getting ready for school and set outside to find Fitz. Okay, here's where it's gonna get a little bit spicy. Gethin's point of view. Gethin squatted, hiding behind the thick green leaves in the bushes. Hiding wasn't his mission though. He was here to take the girl back to Fenton. Gethin finally saw what he was looking for. The girl. That was his cue. With his obscura still active, Gethin crawled out of the bushes, shaking off the leaves and dirt that clung to his clothes. Wait, why would he need to be in the bushes if he had an obscure? I'm confused! Gethin assumed the friendly neighborhood runner role and turned off the obscure. The dog was all too dumb to know that she was playing into the vicious dog all too well. The dog ran quickly across her lawn as Gethin called to the girl. Would you mind grabbing her? I don't suppose you'd be willing to carry her back to my sister's house. It's just a few blocks away, and she seems to like you better than me. But before the girl could say a word, an old human man yelled, She most certainly will not. Sophie, go inside. And you, the old man pointed at Gethin, get out of here right now or I'm calling the police. Gethin was disappointed and raged. When he was out of sight, he stopped and sat on the pavement. I failed this mission in my group. It was such a simple task that I couldn't do it. How am I gonna tell Fenton? Gethin pulled out a yellowish leaping crystal, held it up to the light, and vanished from sight. Wait, why did that kind of rhyme? Held it up to the light, vanished from sight. So although this was a really long chapter, I love how it shows Sophie's perspective in a different way than the books do, and also Gethin's perspective as he tries to kidnap Sophie. I think that's so valuable. So continuing on, we've got Fenton's point of view. Why am I so worried about this mission? Gethin will come back with the girl and we can find out all of the Black Swan's secrets. I'll most definitely punish him if he comes back empty-handed. Wait, but he'll definitely come back with her, right? 10 minutes later, Gethin came to light rapidly, appearing into Fenton's view. I'm noticing something, Gethin. You are alone. Good observation, Fenton. Gethin rolled his eyes. Fenton glared at Gethin, his body twitching in rage as Gethin told him the story of his failure. Fenton pounded his fist on the table as he scolded the telepath. It was such a simple task, and yet you couldn't fulfill it. A voice from the shadows of the hideout interrupted Fenton's thoughts. Guys, stop pouting. Your man Alvar already knows what to do. He got all the news. Since my family keeps me up to date with all the Everglen news, I know her possible living arrangements. Alvar then told the Neverseen about where Sophie was going to live and how the group could kidnap her. The whole time, Fenton's smile got bigger and bigger. finally bursting into a fit of evil laughs. "Well done, Alvar. Rewards will be paid for your commitment to this group." Now, obviously, I'm going to keep skipping over, Sophie's point of view because it's kind of just going along with the story that you already know, but I love this, how we're getting the never-seen kind of info about Sophie and how they might start creating plans to kidnap Sophie as soon as she enters. Okay, so Chapter 3, The School of Foxfire, kind of goes through Sophie's initial thoughts as she attends Foxfire. It's really just a filler chapter, and so I'm not going to go over it, but I will go over some of Keefe's point of view. Keefe and Fitz sat among Foxfire's many steps. Keefe looked into the glass of his imparter, staring at himself as he would do in front of a mirror. He was a very handsome figure. Keefe was tall and lean, very fit for his age. His ice blue eyes stared back at him. He was almost hypnotized by the connection. He looked up a bit and saw his hair. Oh boy, his hair. Why did I make Keefe like so self-conceited? I don't know. A spotlight was shined down on the pyramid floor, encircling a level 2 girl. Everyone, please welcome Sophie Foster, a level 2 prodigy, starting her first day at Foxfire. Keefe noticed that Fitz was smiling next to him. This must be the girl that Fitz was looking for in the Forbidden Cities. He never told me that he'd found her. Keefe punched Fitz on the arm, congratulating him. "You found her, great job." Keefe, realizing that he hadn't even looked at the girl, studied her features. Sophie's shoulder-length blonde hair mixed with her blue eyes. Wait, those aren't blue. He squinted, realizing that they were actually brown. Keefe finally turned away from Sophie and followed Fitz up the stairs to their lockers. The whole rest of the day in his classes, Keefe was distracted by a pair of eyes. Chocolate brown eyes. I remember writing this like so long ago. I feel like Sophie doesn't have chocolate brown, I feel like she has hazel brown. So I guess that doesn't make sense, but I just love how Keefe is so infatuated with himself and Sophie. Chapter 4, A Day of Learning, is all about some of Sophie's classes. The one that I wanted to highlight because it wasn't in the book is her elementalism class, like what happened that made her so kind of traumatized. Sophie pushed open the door confidently, preparing her mind for class. She didn't get one foot into the doorway before a loud thunderclap ringed in her ears. A huge bolt of lightning knocked her off her feet and her consciousness slipped away. Or at least that's what she pretended happened. An elven adult bottled the thunder right before it hit her, stinging her skin a bit. The man boomed. "Sophie Foster, please take your seat. This is what happens when you come late." "Sorry," Sophie said weakly. "It's fine, Sophie. I'm Sir Conley. You can take a seat up front." Pull out your elementalism book and turn to page 13, where your first assignment is listed. The next 45 minutes of class were horrifying. Sophie was given the assignment of bottling a few different elements, which she did horribly. Sophie caught her clothes on fire twice, splashed water on herself 3 times, and hurt her mental sanity 15 times. She sighed with relief when the elven bells rang, signaling lunch. I love that for Sophie. She's so clumsy. Okay, chapter 5, The Great Cape Incident. I've always said this before, but like episode 5s of shows are so good for some reason, and this chapter is so good and amazing. I put so much like elements into it. So basically, we start out with the never scene, with Alvar's point of view. Alvar watched Fenton pace back and forth like he always did. Fenton asked, "You're telling me that she's comfortable at Havenfield?" "Yes, Fenton, she's content with Grade and Adeline. They both share losses, and it makes them bond better." "Well," Fenton laughed, "we'll just drive them apart." Alvar asked, "Yeah, but how do you suppose we go upon doing that?" "Oh, Alvar, a lot of things can make a teenager depressed and angry, and besides, we have lots of time to think about it." Fenton then explains that he and his team are the ones behind the fires, and then Alvar goes to meet with Gisela. Then obviously Sophie has the Great Cape Incident, but then we have a little cute Sophie scene that I'll read some from. Footsteps down the hallway alerted Keefe, waking him from the nice snooze he was having. He quickly fixed his hair and looked to see who was coming. A girl with blonde hair and brown eyes was there. He immediately recognized who those brown eyes belonged to. He called out to Sophie coolly, "You must be lost." Not really. I'm just going to see Elwyn." "Hi, I'm Sophie." Keefe couldn't help but stare at her beauty. Her bronze eyes had flecks of gold drawing him to her. Her lean frame and blonde hair completed her look. He snapped out of the thought. "Yeah, I know that. My name is Keefe, but you can call me hunky hair, beautiful, or just coolest boy alive. Anyways, you're like the biggest news at the school since the Great Gulan incident, which I totally didn't have anything to do with." He winked. He took Sophie's arm, avoiding her shove, and walked her down the hallway. He smiled when he saw that Sophie's face turned a bright pink. They walked down the healing center, arm in arm. So cute. I'll never get over this scene. I love it. Now this next chapter, chapter 6, Coming Close, is kind of hinting that something is coming, and basically it just summarizes the next few months. And then it came midterms. Sophie struggled through some of them, but for the most part, she performed well. During the midterm ceremonies, Sophie was pleased to hear that she passed. Also, she finally started learning about the Black Swan. Another Elwyn visit came unexpectedly after she bottled the light from quintessence and got a burn. And then she found out her allergy, limbium, but in a bad way. Next, and probably the worst event, made her heart swell with anger and depression. Iggy ripped open one of Grady and Adeline's scrolls. finding out that they had canceled their adoption offer. She ignored her not parents, trying to think of other things. And now we have got some more never seen action. Alvar's point of view. Lady Gisella's nasal voice cut through the suffocating silence. How will we stage her death? Maybe we could have something that literally emotionally shatters her to cause her into a suicide situation. Alvar suggested, pacing the room. What could do that though? A betrayal from her friend? Wait, that works. Fiona was told to be friends with Sophie, so we could get that news across to her, and bam! Shattered. Lady Gisela laughed evilly. Maybe a certain person she hates could tell her. Yes, Stina. Exactly, Alvar. I will go tell her now. Alvar smiled. This plan is coming together. We're coming close, Gisela. It's all going down tomorrow afternoon in Chapter 7, Life After the Blaze. Now, Chapter 7, we actually finally get future Sophie's point of view, time-traveling stuff going on. So, future Sophie's point of view. Scenes of defeating the Never Seen once and for all played on repeat through Sophie's mind. It almost seemed like a dream, but it wasn't. Good morning, sunshine. Keefe's lovely voice traveled through her consciousness, sending a warm shiver down her spine. Sophie yelled, Keefe! Keefe smiled. What, sunshine? What are you doing in my bed? You're not supposed to be here. Keefe pressed his lips against hers, interrupting her rant. Don't worry about it, Foster. Dex and Biana had gotten together recently, and she was so happy that Dex had gotten a girlfriend. Fitz, on the other hand, was still single, but looking. She could tell by all the glances and winks between him and Lynn that they were hooking up. I don't think I knew. Basically, after this, Sophie breaks the news to her parents, Grade and Adeline, and they're all supportive, of course. They almost finished their breakfast when Sophie got a call from her imparter. She answered the call. Sophie, I have something great to tell you. Come to Everglen as soon as you're finished at Havenfield. Then we get to Everglen. Biana cleared her throat. Okay guys, I did a lot of research with Dex this weekend. We found something. Biana pointed to Sophie. That would help with Sophie's problem. Sophie's heart raced. Was this about her want to erase the kidnapping from existence? Dex seemed to catch on to Sophie's emotions. Yes, Sophie, we found a way to stop our kidnapping from happening. Dun dun dun! The twist. Sophie's never gonna forget that memory and she wants to erase it. So, chapter 8, we've got a hard choice. That's what I called the chapter, at least. Really? Sophie's heart fluttered as she sighed of relief. How could we do that? Is it dangerous? What would the symptoms be? Sophie, slow down. This isn't gonna work if I have to explain it 10 times, Dex grumbled. Anyway, while Biana and I were scoring Everglen's library, we found this, Dex said, pulling out an old and dusty book from his satchel. The title was labeled The Secret to Time. Sophie frowned. What's this got to do with anything? Well, Biana interrupted, the only thing that can erase your memory from existence would be to time travel. It's the only logical way, and this book is our key to getting you back in time, Sophie. Time is essentially created by a balance of elements and energy, so technically, if we could have all the elements of the world in the same place at the same time in a massive energy boost, we could create a wormhole to the past or future. Lynn smiled. Hey genius, can you tell us this in a way we will understand? Biana jumped in. I can. What Dex means is that if we have all the elements, fire, water, electricity, ice, shadows, light, and wind, and a ton of energy, which could be caused by your teleportation, we could create a path to the past or future. Then Sophie goes back to the place that she was kidnapped. She kind of has like a little moment with Keefe. They're both kind of scared and nervous, but then they get into it. Almost the whole population had gathered at Havenfield to witness this crazy occurrence. Bronte stepped forward, making her heart race. Bronte yelled above the gusts of wind. Sophie, you're about to perform what some think may be impossible. We wish you the best of luck. Okay, Sophie, you go on 3, alright? Let the elements commence. Marilla unleashed her fire on the circle, as did Lynn, Julene, Tam, Wiley, and the other elves with their abilities. Blasts of light and force began, growing stronger and stronger. In only a few seconds, they had created a ferocious tornado of power. 1, Bronte yelled. 2. 3. Sophie jumped from the cliff, flinging herself at the blasts of force from the elements. She gritted her teeth as she plummeted into the circle, energy building around her. Seconds before she would have smacked against the ground, her body boomed with energy. Ah! A wormhole ripped open and Sophie plummeted inside. Boom, and that's the end of the chapter. You don't get more. Alright guys, it is time for the final chapter, Chapter 9, Mission Capture Moonlark. Will they capture the Moonlark? Let's see. Alvar's POV. Alvar brushed his hands against his cloak, hoping it would brush away any of his worries. Would he really be able to kidnap his brother's friend? Alvar! Lady Gisella's high-pitched voice bounced off of the facility walls. It's time to go! Let's go get that Moonlark. Fenton snarled as he lifted his Pathfinder and stepped into the light. Sophie's point of view. Hello? Stina's high-pitched, whiny voice cut through Sophie's thoughts. Biana, Stina said again, louder this time. I really didn't think you were this good of an actress, but I must say, I'm impressed. And then, Stina tells Sophie about Biana being forced to be friends with her, and she runs away. Havenfield seemed to have a gray and dark aura among the place. She threw her back on the ground and raced for the caves, needing a bit of darkness to swallow her anger and sadness. She raced across the field, her legs numb after running for so long. She ran and ran and ran. Sophie let her rage take over her. She was about 50 yards away from the mouth of the cave when a bright white light flashed across the sky. A bright and glowing figure stopped her movement. As the light faded, Sophie saw who it was and gasped. It was her reflection. It was her. The woman spoke, her words echoing off Sophie's mind. "I've come to warn you. Come here," she waved Sophie over, wrapping her in a hug. "Follow my hand." Sophie's future self pointed towards the cave, then she squeezed her eyes shut, letting a blast of light follow the path of her hand. The darkness in the cave illuminated, revealing figures in dark costumes idling in the cave. Sophie wobbled with fear. These men, they kidnapped me, but I plan to change that. She could see the men climbing up the hill, towards her. A cold hand gripped her heart. "Run, Sophie. Run like your life depends on it." Sophie stumbled but caught her footing and turned away towards the house. "Remember," Sophie's future self said, "don't let sadness or fear push you away from the ones you love most." Sophie nodded, and then ran like her life depended on it. When she turned back to get one more glance at the stunning girl in the beautiful white dress, she was gone. And that is it. That is how much I wrote. I'm kind of proud of it, and let me just kind of clue you in on where it would have gone from there, because at that point it has departed from the story entirely. Sophie would have to kind of recover. Obviously, first, Alvar was going to execute another kidnapping plan. My whole moral of the story is that you can't travel back in the time, it's just going to cause another bad event to happen. In the prologue, when Alvar takes her to this place and then kidnaps her, it would have happened in the real book, and that's pretty much the story. I'm actually kind of proud of myself. There's a lot of grammar and spelling issues, but I'm proud of myself in terms of creativity. I'm going to leave links to the story and my Wattpad profile in the description so you can read it in full, because I know this is a very consolidated version. Make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe down below, and follow our new TikTok at KotLC Fanbase YT. If you want to see Joey do this video, please let me know down in the comments, but that wraps it up for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!